Alright guys, welcome to my preview and predictions for WWE Extreme Rules 2015. Now before going into the matches on the card, here are the results to last month's WrestleMania 31 predictions, of which 336 people submitted predictions, with Daniel.Bryan50 coming out on top with 8 predictions correct, so well done for that. As for me, I scored 6 out of 8, so I'm pretty happy with that. So let's see if I can continue that form into Extreme Rules. Now, if you want to submit predictions for Extreme Rules, then you can do so at smacktalks.org/predictions, and I'll also put a link in the video description. So without further ado, let's get extreme. We'll kick things off with the kickoff show itself, which features the Tag Team Championships on the line, as Tyson Kidd and Cesaro defend the belts against the New Day, who picked up a surprising win in a number 1 contenders match against Sin Cara and Kalisto on Raw, thanks to some underhand or under the ring tactics from Xavier Woods, who grabbed Sin Cara's leg from under the ring and caused him to get counted out. Now, I was quite surprised to see them get this title shot, because they've kind of failed since the group was put together, and it's really not got over as a face tag team. But with the crowd reacting in the way that they have, it's good to see that WWE have embraced it, and instead of keeping them face, they've made the switch to turn them heel, even though it's one of those heel teams where they don't necessarily know they're a heel, kinda like Bo Dallas. So with this new take on the gimmick, I think things will work out a lot better for them, and I can see them going on and do good things, but I don't think this is the right time, with Kidd and Cesaro working so well together as a tag team, with a mix of Cesaro's strength and Kidd's high flying abilities. It makes for some great combination moves and allows matches to go from a more power-based defense to a high-speed, fast-action approach as Kidd gets tagged in and really quickens the pace and makes it more exciting. So they're a team I really like seeing, and I think they could be champions for a little while longer. It'd be a shame to see them drop the belts this early, so I'm going to go with a win for Kidd and Cesaro to retain the belts in this first match. Moving on to the main card, and we'll have one of the only match types on the card that I think really does justice to the Extreme Rules name, as Dean Ambrose takes on Luke Harper in a Chicago street fight, and with these two being portrayed as complete and utter lunatics that have well and truly lost the plot, then I'm hoping these two build on what we're seeing on Raw with them fighting through the crowd, and go all out attitude era, brawling through the crowd, in the backstage area, and even outside like we used to see in the hardcore title matches. And if that does happen, I think it'll be such a good thing, because it's not something that we've seen for a long time now. I mean, I think the last I remember was an Extreme Rules match between Jeff Hardy and Umaga, which ended up outside, and I think Jeff might have hit a swanton off the truck to end it. So something like that would be really cool to see here, and when you've two people like Ambrose and Harper who are willing to put their bodies on the line to steal the show, then this could be a classic encounter, and it's one that I think may steal the show. As for who win, I think it could go either way. With Ambrose not winning on pay-per-view though for such a long time, I think it's about time he does pick up a win. So for my prediction in this match, I'm going to go with Dean Ambrose. Next up, we have a really questionable match type, as Sheamus takes on Dolph Ziggler in a Kiss Me Arse match. So this is one that doesn't really make too much sense. It's not even an extreme match type. I mean, essentially, this will just be a singles match, with the loser then having to pucker up and kiss some arse. Now, to me, Sheamus has really looked good since returning. I love the fact that he's gone with a much more powerful and physical style that really suits him. Although, with the injury to Bryan, it looks like WWE may be paying the price for that. But nevertheless, it's working for Sheamus, even if he does look ridiculous as he's doing it. So hopefully it's something that continues as he looks to work that bully kind of style and beat up all the little fellas. One of which, in Adrian Neville, I think resulted in a fantastic match on Raw and did a great job of putting over Neville and Sheamus while still allowing for him to deliver a beatdown. As for Ziggler, his shirt says it best. It's too bad he's so good, because he sells moves so well. He'll make Sheamus look $1 million here as Sheamus continues to dominate and go on for a win. So my prediction in this match, another win for Sheamus to continue his momentum, and yet another loss for Ziggler. Up next, we have a match that may or may not take place, as Daniel Bryan puts the Intercontinental Championship on the line against Bad News Barrett, but whether this match takes place or not is all down to Bryan's health, after he suffered a concussion in a match with Sheamus a couple of weeks ago on SmackDown that has seen him taken off TV. Personally, as much as I think Bryan is the perfect name to hold and elevate the championship, I wouldn't mind seeing him drop the belt here so that he can take a little more time off to recover, as I don't think he's had long enough after the WWE rushed him back at the Royal Rumble when they really didn't have to. He could have maybe taken another month off or so just to continue to heal, but because of that, that's maybe one of the reasons why he's been struggling as of late. And you know, if you listen to the Chris Jericho podcast, he said that he wasn't feeling 100% and that he was finding things hard since return, not knowing if it was due to his injuries or if it's just the fact that he's getting older. Either way, with everyone being aware of the concussion, it's the perfect opportunity to push on with Barrett and have him win the belt back, and with Bray Wyatt's recent promos talking to someone that he's going to expose for being weak and take away the thing that they love most, it might be interesting to see why it cost Bryan the match and the title to take it away from him, as that could then write Bryan off TV for the time being and have a refreshed rivalry with Wyatt set up for when he returns, which is something I would quite like to see after they put on a great match at the Royal Rumble last year. Even if Bryan isn't the person that Wyatt's been referring to, I can still see him being on the pay-per-view and attacking whoever that is, with other choices being Roman Reigns or maybe even Randy Orton. As for this match though, I'm going to go with a win for Wade Barrett and to see him become the new Intercontinental Champion. Next we have the big slow in action as he takes on Roman Reigns, who's someone that I'm starting to warm to as he seems to really be trying. His promos seem to have gone better and he seems to be reacting to the crowd chanting things at him when they're chanting Suplex City, and he reacted by saying, "Oh yeah, I went there and I got up the next day." So it's cool to see he's grown in confidence and he's willing to try things like that, which always gets a good reaction, and it's something that he wouldn't have done 6 months or so ago, so again it just shows how much he's improved. On top of that, even little things like calling short a Jumbotron giant, it just adds more to his character and really gets the crowd on his side, because let's face it, there's not going to be many people behind Big Show. He's at a point in his career now where he should be looking to hang up his boots, as he's no longer the giant that he used to be, and compared to how he first came into the WWE as an unstoppable giant, that's all gone now, and his character has been ruined with so many changes, going from the big nasty bastard to making jokes, crying and constantly flipping the heel face switch, and with his age is no longer someone that should be around the main event scene unless they build him up as a giant again and give him one last run before he retires, and then they bring in another younger giant to take his place. As for this match, I think it'll be a decent match, but there's only going to be one winner clean, and that's got to be Roman Reigns, unless, as I mentioned before, we see some interference from Mr. Wyatt. Next up, we have the Divas Championship on the line as Nikki Bella defends against Naomi, who recently turned heel after being named the #1 contender and then having it taken away from her and being put in a battle royal that was really quite pointless, to be honest, but it did allow for Paige to get a win in her home country and then be written off TV as she's going away to film a movie, and that plus the recent retirement of AJ Lee gives an opportunity for someone to step up, with Naomi being the one taking that opportunity. So I like this change for her. I think it's about time that they give her a proper chance, and I would love to see her get the win here and become the new champion, as I think Nikki Bella's title reign is a little bit stale, and I would prefer to see things freshened up a little in the division, moving the Bellas away from the title picture and maybe having them involved with bringing up some new talent from NXT, maybe someone like a Bayley who they could try to belittle, and work an angle similar to the way that we're seeing Lay Cool treating Mickie James. Then not only does that bring in a new talent, it also allows for some fresh names to challenge for the Divas Championship, one of which I would like to see is Cameron, who I think has improved a lot, and with her history with Naomi, then I think that could be interesting. So with this match, I'm going to go with a win for Naomi and her walking out the new Divas Champion. The next match sees John Cena putting the United States Championship on the line as Rusev finally invokes his rematch clause in a Russian chain match, which sees both men chain together and have to touch all 4 turnbuckles in succession to win the match. So I don't really know why they've gone with a chain match to further this feud. It always seems like an awkward match to me, as it's always something that's very limited in what you can do with the chain being so restrictive, and it's not something that you're going to be wanting to land on because it could do you some serious damage. That said, if we see it like we did on Raw, with Rusev using it to apply the accolade to Cena, then it could make for some interesting moments, but it's hard to see where this feud goes past Extreme Rules, as I only see a win for Cena here. I mean, he is the leader of the Chain Gang after all. Personally, I think Cena's working wonders for the United States Championship, and he's really elevating it, as the open challenge he's been issuing is now something I always look forward to seeing, as you never know who's going to show up, and it's something that I would love to see continue, especially if they bring in some legends and some surprise returns, or even some NXT talent as a way to bring them up to the main roster, potentially with one of them even winning the belt on the debut, like we're seeing with Paige. So my prediction for this match, the leader of the Chain Gang, John Cena. The final match on the card sees the WWE World Heavyweight Championship on the line as Seth Rollins defends the championship against Randy Orton inside a steel cage, with Kane introduced as the Guardian of the Gate, and Randy's RKO is banned. So on paper, all the odds seem to be against Orton, who'll no doubt also have the likes of the world's greatest security team, J&J, to contend with, who I'm sure will get involved and scale the cage at some point, but it's all going to come down to Kane and whether or not he does what's best for business, or if everything that's happened over the past few weeks between him and Seth finally caused him to snap and he takes matters into his own hands and costs Seth his beloved championship. So the build of this match is one that you can't have missed because it's been on TV in every other segment, especially with Triple H and Steph taking time off during the recent European tour, and it's something that I think has been really quite hard to watch, as it's been strung out for so long, and it's not even really fresh. It's the same thing that we're seeing when Orton was the champion and the face of the Authority, and you had to rely on the interference from the likes of Kane to keep the title. So for me, this is kind of ruining Seth's title reign. I would really like to see the whole Authority angle just take a backseat and give Seth some room to really show what he can do, because it's something that I've said before when Orton was the champion, that having to constantly rely on interference to get the job done really belittles the champion and makes them look weak. And when the Authority have been claiming that Seth is the future of the WWE and that the future is now, he should be going out there and showing that he truly is the future and that he can get the job done on his own. So my prediction here, I'm going to go with the win for Rollins, but with Kane turning on him and trying to cost him the championship, only for Rollins to come out on top anyway and get the job done himself. Also, one other thing that I'm really interested to see is the finisher that he uses in the match, after the curb stomp appears to have been banned, and we're seeing him hit a single arm inverted DDT as a finishing move on Raw, so it'll be interesting to see which move he uses, especially if he decides to take a page out of Orton's book and he hits Orton with an RKO for the win, seeing as Randy is banned from using it. Anyway, those are my predictions for Extreme Rules. Let me know what you think of them in the comments and who you think will win. And don't forget, you can submit your predictions to the Smacktalks Prediction League at smacktalks.org/predictions, and I'll score them and post the results on Monday morning. So guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Enjoy Extreme Rules, and as always, I'll catch you later.